From 2012 to 2014, I lived in Chicago, and I was very close to my grandparents' home. So I went over frequently to spend time with them. With my grandmother, I always played this game called Sunkga, a Filipino game. It was enjoyable and strategic, and for reference, she's 83 now and still likes to play it. This game connected me to my culture, and I was entertained and interactive. I will show how to set up this game, how to play, and why I believe this game should be played with others. This first is a setup. Sunkga is a two-player game. The players should know how to count this game in order to play it. Traditionally, you need a Sunkga board. It normally looks like this, but there are other versions where it can fold into itself. There are 7 pits on each side, and one large pit to act as home. You could also use an egg carton and 2 bowls to act as a Sunkga board if you do not have it. Game pieces should be small to scoop, but big enough to grab between fingers. Traditionally, tiny seashells are used, but you can also use seeds or pebbles. Sunkga is a game that is portable and can be played from the floor to the tabletop, standing or sitting, and anywhere you have the time. Here's how to play the game. Each pit has 7 shells, and the homes will be empty. Decide who goes first by rolling a dice, flipping a coin, or playing rock, paper, scissors. The first player grabs shells from a pit on their side. They would then place each shell in a clockwise motion, and if they pass their home, they would place a shell there and keep going. If they land in a pit with other shells in it, the player can grab those shells and keep going. The player needs to skip over their opponent's home, since it's not theirs. If they land in an empty pit, it can go 2 ways. If they land on their pit and there are shells on their opponent's side across from it, they can take this shell and their opponent's shells and place it in the game board. Or if they have a shell here and there are no shells on the other side, the opponent's side, their turn is over. If they land in a shell on the opponent's side, their turn is also over because they cannot grab from their own side. If on a handful they placed a final shell in the pit of their home, they can continue by grabbing from another side and going from there. This game will continue until each player has emptied the board, and the player with the most shells in their home would win. Sunkga is an enjoyable game, and it's challenging to practically any ages that know how to count. It's fun because it's competitive. It's very strategy based, and players would have to think ahead of their opponents, even when it's not their turn. They would have to boost their thinking skills in order to play to the fullest extent. This game is a way to spend time with others without the use of electronics or social media. As a generation of technology, we often neglect bonding with others in the physical world. So use Sunkga to engage with friends and intrigue others into joining with you. Sunkga is a significant part of Filipino culture, but since it is a numbers game, it can be universal. It is portable and be a quick way to add fun to a family game night or set up competitively among friends.